Welcome back to the Once Upon a Corgi podcast. My name is Gabby. You can find me everywhere as Gabigales, Ravelry, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. We have a Once Upon a Corgi Ravelry group you can go check out, join, say hello. You can find my project bags and yarn at uponacorgi.etsy.com, and we have our two corgis, Iron and Audrey, taking a little nap from playing in the snow all day yesterday. So they'll be putzing around behind us. Welcome to the best lit podcast yet for us. Yay, snow, and reflecting quite nicely into my window. And I'm sorry for the reflection my glasses are doing. I can't seem to make them stop. I'm redoing the intro because I realized I forgot a bunch of stuff. So once I get to my whips and FO section, it's going to be a little bit different. So it's not you, it's me. I swear. I just want to say a giant thank you to everybody who's given a shout out or said hello, and thank you. And just a giant huzzah. Last I checked, we were at, I think, 220 subscribers on YouTube, and I just got a bunch of emails for new ones, so that's super exciting. I think once we hit 300, I'll try and do a giveaway of sorts, probably for my yarn or a project bag, or if anybody has any prizes they want to donate, that would be great. They're sleepy, but they also have so much energy, so if I cut randomly throughout the podcast, it's them barking, and I wanted to save you from blowing your ears out because they have very loud and demanding voices for cows. Yeah, I just want to say a giant thank you to everybody who said hello or given a shout out to the podcast, and a giant welcome to all the new podcasters that a couple reached out to me on Instagram, and I checked out their stuff, and I will put I will mention them at the end, and I'm gonna put a podcast list on the blog. That way I can keep track of who I'm listening to, and then if you guys want any recommendations, you can just go see who I'm listening to, and it's going to be both nitty and non-nitty, because I do listen to a couple non-nitty podcasts that are fantastic. I think that was it for the intro. I'm going to switch over to the whips and FOs that I already recorded, and do you have a... No, shut the bulb. And then I will meet you back in future present for shop updates, Vogue Knitting Live recap, and new diet rules and plans for next month. So I will see you in a minute. Have fun! So I guess we'll start with finished objects. And we have one. I haven't cut the ends, but they are blocked. What are you so happy about? Are you so smiley? My Palmer Farms socks, and this is a mix of CVM and Rommeldale yarn, and they're just Gigundo house socks, and I knit them on size 5 needles. I did I have partridge heel. I'm recording on my phone now too, so if I keep going to the wrong spot, that's why. But they are super comfy, and they're super smushy and so soft, and I'm going to count them for my 12 socks of 2016. I did technically start them on Christmas Eve, so they were also my Christmas Eve cast on for Little Bobbin's Christmas Eve knit along. But I have another January pair to count towards. Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast is doing a box of socks year-long knit along that I am very much interested in, because my goal was 12 new pairs of socks for me this year. So this is my pair number 1, and I'm super excited to wear them. And I did a Kitchener toe just because I was running out of yarn quite quickly. But I'm super excited to wear these. And they're on just Knit Picks sock blockers. There you go. And then our... I'm sort of also spread out everywhere. Second finished object is not knitting. it is sewing. And I'm super excited about this one. This is my zinnia skirt, which I did not button all the way. Which I finished in time for Vogue Knitting, so I got to wear it. And it was super comfortable and so fun to wear, and the pockets are so handy. So it's the zinnia skirt pattern by Colette Patterns Designs, version 1, I believe. So it's got the buttons all the way down, and then it's got real pockets, which I was super excited about. And I don't know what kind of fabric this is, but I love the drape and the swish. It just wrinkles quite easily. You can tell where I crossed my legs on the train. But I love it. I'm definitely going to make the rest of the skirts on that pattern, and I'll probably make this one again. I would definitely do the buttons better next time. I was having a little bit of trouble with my buttonhole making skills. So some of it was my fault, some of it was just my machine would jam up, or I ran out of thread on a bobbin one time. That was my fault. But I love it. I can't wait to wear it again. I don't get to wear it during the week because I can't wear nice clothes to work. So I'm excited for a good, not so snowy day that I can wear a skirt again. Oh, and I didn't mention, I'm wearing my Verdue shawl, and it's in my Dark Like My Soul colorway, and I love it. I also haven't been able to wear this since Christmas because I can't wear nice things to work. Ooh, it's falling down. And it's just held on by a brooch that came with the sweater I'm wearing. So those are my only 2 finished objects. Yes? Yes. Only 2 finished objects. Works in progress, though. It's sort of a finished object. I just have to put part of it on. So I finished the majority of one Hulk sock. I even put the heel. I did a afterthought heel, so I put that in before I finished the whole thing to make sure that it was going to fit Jake around the heel. Are you going to show off your bone? He's got like a 2-foot bone that he likes to carry around and show people. So here it is. Is this your work in progress? No, you don't want it? Alright. So, it fits his heel. The problem is, this part barely fits over his heel and ankle. He can get it over. He says it's fine. I wish it wasn't so tough to get out, but I did put a lifeline in here, so I might go back and add some more stitches to the top. It's 72 stitches across, or around, and they were on size 1 needles, I think. I had it written down and then I lost it, and then I decided not to do this with Shownotes. So I might go back and fix that. But Hull sock number 1 is almost done. I just have the toes to do. So I think once I get to the toe part, I'm just gonna 2 at a time magic loop the toes on to make sure that they fit. And then that leads me to puppies. Hey, put the teeth away. Now I'm all tangled. Ooh, ooh. Alright, work in progress number 2, which is the beginning of the next Hulk sock. And this one's turning out much stretchier. So maybe I'll go back and I'll cast on from the top down for the cuff. No, it's just a stretchy. I don't know. He's just never gonna have socks. That's it. Some 1x1 ribbing. And this is out of the, it's both Malabrigo, and I can't find the tags anywhere, but green and purple, they're Hulk socks. So, it's a work in progress. I'm hoping to have these done by the end of January because I need the needles for my next sock project, which I will have. I think I'm gonna do the last episode of the month. I'm gonna do a segment of my plans for next month, because I'm trying to organize all my what I want to knit for the year into months so that I don't go crazy. And it's in my Once Upon a Corgi bee bag. Our next work in progress is the ever constant friend to knit along, the Bonbon shawl. And this is knit out of 100 Ravens. The top part is their Jon Snow colorway, and then the second color is their On Raven's Wing, or a Raven's Wing. And I striped it with Jon Snow for the middle, and now I'm on just the Raven's Wing colorway part. And I am so in love with this shawl. It's gonna be like a bedtime reedy shawl that's just gonna hang out in the house because it's a giant, it's a DK almost worsted weight single, and it's so soft and it feels like a cloud. I'm so excited to wear it. I've been super nervous that the recipe called for 200 grams for the large size, and I've been knitting it and I feel like I should have way less than this, but maybe I'm in the right spot. I don't know. I just love it. It's big enough now that I can only do maybe 2 or 3 rows on a train ride. And I just want to wear it. I love it. I love how John came out. And I love how it's striped. I love how well they're just fantastic yarn company. They have all of the nerdy, geeky colorways. Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, poetry, Wizard of Oz, artists, like painters. Here. How's that? There you go. Yeah, they're fantastic. And they have everything from worsted to fingering weight, and the people are lovely. I met some of the dyers behind it at the New England Fiber Festival, and they were just a pleasure to talk to. Just can't stop feeling how smushy this yarn is. I wish you could put it on your face because it's beautiful. So yeah, it's my Bonbon jowl. It's clearly too early to be doing this. I just want to wear it forever. And that is, I swear I know how to do this, living in one of my monster bag. They're business monsters. And I've got my tangled up emoji pin from Vogue Knitting Live on there because I love him. That's last knitting work in progress. Our spinning work in progress. Edgar has been getting consistent love. I think I'm going to do, Adrian from the Freakish Lemon podcast is doing a new thing, knit along, craft along, sort of a, learn something that you wanted to learn that you didn't before and work on it. So I'm using that as inspiration to work on my wheel spinning. And I think that's what I'm going to do for Jenny's craft along. I think my goal is to try to wake up early enough to do 20 minutes of spinning before I leave for work. So I feel like that'd be a really good meditative chillax before the crazy of the day. And I think that would help a lot. So I am spinning. It's a Shetland fiber from the Rose Field, and I got this at the New England Fiber Festival. You're never going to be able to see that. I'll put it in the show notes. There's a little bit. It is super soft. It was a 4 ounce ball, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through it, maybe a little over half, and it's coming out quite nice. The finest I've ever spun that's staying I've been super afraid of overspinning it. So I've been underspinning it a lot, and it just sort of like flutters apart as I try to, if the fiber breaks or if I'm trying to ply it. So there is a lost end in here somewhere. So once I get to that part, when I ply it, we'll see what happens. My plan is to do a 2-ply with it and see if I can keep it at a fingering weight. And then there was 4 1-ounce little tufts that I didn't take out with me. They're still in my spin bin that I'm gonna spin up the same way and then do a cowl with them together and maybe do some color work. So I'm super excited. I'm having so much fun with the wheel. I can't spin fast enough on it. If I could just sit there all day and spin, I probably would. I don't know if that's a paying job. If it is, I'll take it for like a week. Welcome back. I decided to wait a little bit while I was recording as if this was a live podcast, and I hit play on the other section. I gave the dogs cookies, so if you can hear weird crunching in the background, that's what that is. Audrey was getting pretty talkative. So I did whips, FOs, sewing, spinning. I guess it's time for Vogue Knitting Live, which was fantastic. It was my first time going. It was the probably first or not puppies. Yeah, it was I think my second or third time going into the city alone, not for work stuff. So that was super proud of myself that I didn't die anywhere, go or get that lost. I did run around Times Square for about 10 minutes because the address for the hotel said it was on Broadway, but the entrance to the hotel was really on like 46th, and I was just running in a tiny circle looking for somebody with knitting so I could follow them. But I figured it out. So yeah, I went into the city. I left around 9:30. I think I took a 9:30 or 10 o'clock train into the city. Took about 45 minutes. Get some super furious nervous knitting done on the train. Made it to the hotel probably around 11:30ish, and I'm gonna show all my acquisitions in order of the day. So I got there and I checked in and immediately went into the 5th floor marketplace, and I have a system that my mom and Adrian and I figured out, mostly Adrian because he started going to the festivals before me, where I go around and I collect all the business cards of places I want to go back to. So then in my left pocket is all the places I have to go back to, and my right pocket is all the places I've been. So then I just sort of transfer all my business cards. And if I know I'm not going to be able to find what I want when I go back because of just it's a loop booth or it's like a Miss Babs and I'm never going to be able to get my way back into that booth again, I'll buy it then and there. So I went, and the first place I stopped was One Geek to Craft Them All, and I got a little exploding TARDIS Notions bag. I couldn't decide on any of the stitch markers or earrings, so I figured this was a good teeny nerddom that I needed, and I've already put all my stuff in it. So that was exciting. That was my first booth, and then I turn around and Loop is directly across from them, and they were empty, and it was a miracle. So I went in, and this is my second Loop bump, and it is called Creekside, and it's merino, nylon, and Angelina, 4.5 ounces. And I got a red and it's hanging up on my window because the cat likes to chew on the plastic, and I'm afraid he's gonna choke on fiber. So I got a red and a black one, so I wanted to get a cool color one, and I wanted to get one with sparkles so you can see the sparkles. And I'm super excited to spin this up. I don't know how I'm going to ply them yet. I want the colors to stay the same, but I don't know if I'm good enough at chain plying to keep them. To be afraid of not ruining it kind of thing. But I have a bunch of like spindle spun fiber that didn't make it into a skeiny yarn because it was just awful. So I'm going to practice on that before I get to these. But my goal is to spin the red one before Rhinebeck. That way I can buy another Rhinebeck. and I love it. It's got like, it starts with like a light lavender and then goes to teal and black and green and light blue. I'm super excited for it. I see many a gradient shawl in my future. Or this one, it's got the nylon in it, so this one might be super stripy socks. We'll see. We'll see how fine I can get it. So that was stop number 2. And I was very proud of myself because I did all of this alone and didn't die. So I'm counting that as a very large accomplishment in my book. The next place I stopped was, it's called Delicious Yarns, and they're based out of California. I want to say LA, but I could be mistaken. Valley Village. It's on the package. And they were just the cutest booth in the world. Everything was in these little bakery tins or like a cupcake box. And so you got a skein of yarn, a pattern, and their labels were nutritional labels, which I just got a kick out of. So I got a t-shirt shawl kit in the Kiwi Fudge colorway. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but it's got these like dark and light greens and this brown. And there's the shawl. I don't know if I'm gonna knit that shawl per se, or a lot of people have been doing the Because I Love You shawl, and so I might get a compliment brown to go with it. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but they were just adorable. I did go on the website of vendors beforehand and check off who I really wanted to go to, and they were just so cute. I couldn't not go. So there's label, and they were just like, they had a cowl kit, they had a mitten kit, they had a lot of shawls. I think it's a fingering weight, and it's 100% superwash merino. I haven't touched it yet. That was the only thing I didn't really like about the packaging, but it's just so cute. Like, this is this little bread, my little bread of yarn. I loved it. It was great. And then this is not an acquisition. Why is this in here? My bag's down here. So if I keep looking down, the next place I went to was, I forget the booth name completely, but I got this Downton Abbey Lady Sybil colorway for my mom for her birthday, because that's at the end of January. It's just beautiful, like dark rosy purpley pink, and it's 80 acrylic, 10 mohair, 10 polyamide, but it's deceivingly soft. And I figure that'll be good for her, because then she can just throw it in the wash with everything, because I'm sure it'll be a hat or a cowl or something. Or she bought two skeins of yarn a little bit lighter than this at our yarn crawl, and so I just thought of her the second I found this, and it was beautiful. The only downfall was, while I was the One Geek to Craft on the Loop booth, I just sort of like ran through because I'm like, wee, both knitting. And then this place had a line as long as the entire building. I think I was in line for like 20 minutes just to buy one skein of yarn, but they gave me a bag. They gave me a nice little Downton Abbey bag to go with it, and I was super impressed that I bought like a $6 skein and got a very decent sized tote bag with it. So I was standing in line for it, and I was eyeballing the booths across the way, which looked empty enough that I could like reach across the aisle and like poke them and be like, what's that color? How much is this one? What's this feel like? Can I touch this? Can you grab that one? Can I touch this? And one of the owners was super helpful, because I'm in line. I'm like, what's that called? Can I have that? Can you hold that for me? So he was super nice about it. And then I immediately popped over, and I'm going to ruin, I said do not disturb. My alarms are going off. Shh. Hey, where's my phone? You good? I'm going to ruin the surprise for Adrian. I meant to go visit this weekend, but we blizzard. So the booth across the way that I was poking at was Biscotti Yarns. Here's their tag. And they had 1.5 billion self-striping colorways. So I went over there because I asked Adrian if he wanted anything, if he wasn't going to go. And he said fun self-striping yarn. So I went for a Harry Potter theme. So I got this one because this looked the most Gryffindor to me. It's called Gazania. It's a flower, but it's It starts with a G, so it's close to Gryffindor. And then I'm putzing around, and they had Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast got their watermelon gradient kit, and they had a watermelon, just a watermelon self-striping that I almost got. And I was holding, I think their Titanic colorway. And I was a little upset. They had an Aragon colorway, which is a dragon based off a book series called Aragon. I believe that's what it's called, or like the Dragon something series, which is super good. And I was standing in line, and this woman was just like, "Oh, what's this? This is a Downton Abbey colorway? Perfect." So I'm like, "Oh, I want a Downton Abbey colorway." And he was just like, No, it's a Scottish colorway." So I was like, I have to have Scottish colorways because I'm a giant Outlander nerd. So this is what I got myself. And I realized that they're very similar, but sibling colorways. So this is what I got from Biscotti Yarns. And my only downfall with them is they don't put the colorways on the tag. I had to go on their website and match them, and then I wrote them down on the tags. They're 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 400 meters. So these are going to be some fantastic socks one day when I give this to Adrian. And I'm glad I showed you guys because their birthdays are like next to each other. So if I waited for Adrian to show this, then it'd be forever. And I wouldn't be able to tell you that I got it at Vogue Knitting Live. So you'll probably see that next month. Hi, Adrian. And then the next place I went to was, I didn't get their card. I have their card. I forgot it. It was a little fiber booth. I think it had a cat in it. And I spotted turtle-made Turkish spindles. So I hemmed and I hawed because I have them in my Etsy cart. And I was like, oh, I'll just order online. I'm like, no, they're right here. I'll get it. So I got a glow-in-the-dark one, and it's already got fiber on it because I bought one, and it was great, and I spun on it for like 3 days. Yeah, I think Monday. I almost had like a full roll lag. It's just a practice roll lag that I made with some, it's all 100% wool, local wool to Connecticut. It's from a spinnery in Portland, I think, or Windsor or something. I get a text Monday, and Monday was just an awful day at work. I was just so sad to be back in the Muggle world after having such a good nitty vacation. And it's just, the pups got to your new spindle. And I also have the Blackfoot spindle, so I thought they meant that. And I'm like, well, if they just chew the end, we can sand it down. We're fine. So I'm on the train, and I'm like, all right, we'll be okay. The Woolery is really good about shipping stuff. It'll be fine. And then it hits me. I have another new spindle. And I just freak out. I'm like, how much did they eat? Oh my god, they're gonna die. It's 3D printed. They're gonna die. So I get home, and it's not that bad of a damage, but it's bad enough that you can't spin with it, and it's lopsided. So I don't know what happened. It was on a table. Something got knocked down, the cat knocked it off, they were able to reach over the couch and get to it, but they knocked it down, and they chewed her. But it was super cool to see what's inside of a 3D spindle. I don't know if it's gonna focus. Probably not, it's too bright. There you go. But yep, it was just enough that it hurts to spin, and then one of the arms is now lopsided, so I sent a message to the Turtle Maid lady, whose name I forget, I'm sorry, but thank you. And I told her what happened, and she delivered a new shaft and arm to me. and she made a delightful little "No Corgis Allowed" sign to go with it, which is sitting on my desk. So thank you so much. And it spins beautifully. It glows in the dark. It's my first Turkish spindle and I love it. I'm just having so much fun with it. I just want to order all of the Rolags to spin on it. I feel like these are for Rolags. I don't know why, but I do. So that was that stop. And I think that was my last stop at that time for the 5th floor. So is that? Yeah. I head up to the 6th floor and I'm squishing yarn and I'm poking around and I look up and I see Mina from the Knitting Expat. So I nervously am like, hello, and she hears me and we say hi and it was fantastic, and she already did her shopping, so she's like, perfect, we'll walk around, I'll show you the ropes. So I'm hanging out with her, which was super fun. She's so nice. She was a fantastic little marketplace guide, and she was just a very good walk around buddy. She kept asking if I was okay, and I'm sure I just had a look of sheer panic on my face the entire time, because it's a little surreal, like meeting people that recognize you, that you recognize, that you're just like, you're a big shot podcaster, and I'm just this little piddly, I have dogs, listen to me talk for 40 minutes a week kind of thing. So it was super exciting and a little fangirly on the inside, but I tried to contain it. So I walked around with Mina for a while and she was extremely enabling, and I'm not mad at all. So the first place we went to, where did we walked around a lot, and we did like a full circle of the 6th floor, and then we made it to the Stephen B booth, and it was so funny. She was like, all right, what are you looking for? So I told him, like, I need yarn for the Wendy top, I need yarn for the can shawl, I need fiber, and I need something else. So we go to the Stephen B booth, and I wanted to make I want to make the Wendy top in like this mustard yellow, and I plan to use Madeline Tosh, and I figured there's enough Madeline Tosh in this building that I should be fine. But I didn't really find the yellow I wanted in the weight I wanted, or enough of it. So we're perusing Stephen B, and he had these huge bins of hedgehog fiber, and I've never been able to get any, or it was just too expensive at the time. And so I look down and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect color for the Wendy top. So I'm like, I look up the recipe again just to make sure, and I'm like, all right, I can probably get away with 2 skeins, but I might be cutting it close. Am I going to be able to get it again? And Mina's just like, just get the 3rd. It's worst comes to worst. What are you going to do? Make socks? So I got 3 skeins of Hedgehog Fibers pollen in their sock yarn. It is 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, and I'm not worried about the nylon content because it's going to be a shirt. But I love it. I'm so excited. Oh, I meant to grab the unicorn. I have a unicorn tail from Madeline Tosh of like a super dark, probably like, my shawl is falling apart, like a darker blue than this kind of thing, but like a dark royal blue that I think I'm going to do the collar in. So this was my biggest splurge, and it was so worth it. They're so soft. I'm so excited. I want to cast it on immediately, but I am limiting myself on patterns. I will talk about that in the yarn diet. I just love it. They were so exciting. It was fantastic. So that was my first big purchase with Mina, and then we're walking around, so we got the Wendy top down, now we just need the can shawl. So she's like, oh, I have the perfect booth. I think it was Australian? Ireland? Irish wool, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, it was this, but I walked right past it when I went in, and I didn't even think to touch anything. So she brought me straight away to that booth, and so I got 2 skeins of Studio Dongle in this like light pink tweedy, and the recipe calls for a DK weight. It's a worsted weight, so it'll just be extra mushy and big, and I love big shawls, so I won't be mad. So we got that. Oh, and I think it's gonna be perfect. This is gonna be my next shawl that I cast on. I'm hoping to finish it for Andy from the Andre Sue Knits podcast, and Jeanette from the Bookish Stitcher podcast. And I believe a couple other podcasts are hosting a shawl along for the beginning of the year, so I'm hoping to get this one done before that ends, and the Bonbon shawl will be part of that too. Because I'm awful at remembering what to say with these things today, because I feel like I haven't done this in a while. So you can do a close-up. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for it. It's super soft. I can't wait. So that was my last big purchase then. And then we walked around, we ran into Jenny and Devin from Tiny Paper Foxes, and it was so exciting to finally meet them. Hi. And we walked around with them a little bit, and we just sort of laughed at, we were like herding podcasters around, like we would do a loop, and then one more person would join us, so every time we did a loop, we would grow by one. So we walked around with them for a little bit, and they already hit up the loop booth, and Jenny got her yarn at that point, so we were like, oh, okay, let's go sit down. So we sat down and had a little knitty circle, and then Tanya from the Knitting Spring podcast found us. She joined, and that was super exciting to meet her. And Eric from the 6 Plus Twine podcast did like a run by on his way to his class, so he like ran in, stopped, said hello to everybody, traded some gifts, got some gifts, and then like scooted away like, I'm sorry, I have class. So that was funny. That was hilarious. So yeah, we sat down and we knit for a little bit, and then they went back down to the 5th floor. I met up with a woman from my knitting group, because I go to a knitting group on Saturday mornings usually, and she was in classes all day, so I stopped to say hi to her, and we showed off what we got at that point. And then I met everyone back down at the 5th floor, and Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast and Carlene from the Made with Carlenergy podcast were there, so we did another tour of the marketplace with them, because they sort of did like a drive around, but didn't really stop and get anything. And that's when I told them I wanted to get fiber, and I went to Phoenix Fibers, and there's this beautiful light purpley mauve color. It was silk and BFL, I think, and it was super soft, but it didn't like scream at me. I felt like I got a lot of purples, so I wanted to get something with more colors to work on color spinning. So we went to the Narwhal Needlework booth, which is the cutest booth in the world besides Delicious Fibers, and their name was fantastic, and their colors were all up in my alley. So I wanted to get something that I haven't spun before, because I do have a lot of merino. I don't have a lot of BFL. I want to kind of branch out from merino because it's in everything, so I want to play with other stuff. Like I have Falkland fiber, I've got mohair fiber, alpaca that I have yet to spin, and then just other stuff like that. So I want to branch out from the merino. So it's 100% Pullworth wool. It's called Bottle Rocket. Oh, and just look how pretty it is. And it's 4 ounces. It looks like Falkland. I've never spun with pull. Oh no, maybe it's thinner than Falkland. I have a giant bag of Falkland hanging up in my window too. But it's got these grays and purples, and then these like pale yellows and oranges, and then bits of deep purple. But then like this galaxy nebula purple and pink. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I think I've already got all my spin the bin stuff, so this might be a spin the bin next year, or I don't know. I think of a rule. I'm unofficially doing spin the bin. I'm not actually in the group, but I think the rule is if you trade something out, you have to trade in for 2, so I might just trade something out so I can spin this one and count it in my unofficial spin the bin. It's just so soft and pretty, and I just want a photo of it mounted on my wall forever. Yeah, that's what I'll do this weekend. I love it. And that was my last purchase, right? Yeah, that was my last purchase for Vogue Knitting Live. So after that, we met up with everybody again on the 7th floor, and we sort of showed off all the new goodies. Definitely check out Carlene's podcast to see her yarn baby. I am just so proud of it. It's beautiful. Congratulations. Oh, it was great. It was super fun to run around with everybody and actually meet them and then hang out instead of Rhinebeck. I met Kristen, but I was super nervous about meeting people and being in a large group of people I watch on the internet and just being in a large group of people, and slightly overwhelmed that it was my first like fiber festival kind of thing and just being me. So when I met her, it wasn't my greatest introduction. It was more of a, I'm gonna mildly weep on the inside and just sort of scream and throw a project bag at you and then run away because I'm so nervous. So they didn't really work out so well with Jeanette when I did it because she wanted a hug like 5 times and I was okay with that. But it was like, okay, here. Oh, you keep coming back. Okay, alright. Oh, okay, we can talk now. I'm good. So I'm awful at meeting people, if you can't tell. So it was fun to actually hang out and get to know everybody a little bit better. And essentially enable, like we were at the loop booth and Kristen had 2 loop bats and was just like, which one? Which one do I want? Which one do you want? And Mina's just sitting there like, both! Get both! Do it! Get both of them! You'll spin them both! And Carlene's just like, I want this one, but I'm not gonna buy it, so you should buy it. And I'm on Mina's side. I'm like, just do both of them. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's Vogue Knitting Live. So, that was exciting. I keep saying so a lot. Yeah, we hung out on the 7th floor for a little bit and just had a little nice knit group. I got to chat, and Denise, who now has the Yarn Geek podcast, she's got 1 episode up, and she is just full of nerdum, and I love it. You definitely need to check her out. I'll put links to everything. I'm not going to put links to every website, but I will list what places I bought from. So then, if you really want to find them, you can. It'll be easy. Yeah, Denise, first episode up. She's got a fantastic Star Wars hat. She seems very excited about her projects and wants to get more into not so seasonal knitting. So definitely give her a look-see. And then Jenny and Devin went off to go find food, so we were all sort of, oh yeah, we're hungry too. So we went and we got some sandwiches and salads and hung out. And Kristen made this comment. She's like, "Oh, it's like the cool kids table. Like, you can't sit with us." So all I could think of was Mean Girls. Like, on Wednesdays we knit pink, and then I was just reciting Mean Girl quotes in my head for the rest of the time. And there was 2 ladies at the table next to us, which like were giving us these weird side glances. I'm like, what are you like? Why are you judging us? Because we're all knitting and eating? Is that it? Or because Kristen's got a dime bag of fiber and is spinning at lunch right now? And then you just see them slowly take out these little project bags and start knitting and just like looking over at us. And every time anyone made eye contact, they would like smile and giggle and then go back to their knitting. So that was adorable. Then Eric made it out of class and came and met with us. And so we got to talk to him a little bit more. And then we all went over to the podcaster meetup at Latitude Bar and Grill that Eric and Jenny both hosted. Alex from the Mapping Charts podcast found the venue. So that was super awesome. Thank you, Alex. It was loud. It was very sports oriented, but we had a nice little corner. We had a couple tables, so if you wanted to sit and knit, you could. If you wanted to get up and chat, you could. The lady was super straight. The waitress was really like straightforward about like, everything's gotta be separate. You guys don't have to worry about anything. So that was super exciting that we didn't have to sit there at the end and be like, what'd you get? Wait, what did I get? Who, what? Huh? So that was fun. I knit for a little bit. I just sat down, I worked on the Hulk socks, and then I wanted to go talk to Jenny more than I actually got to, but it was loud and there were so many people and I didn't want to bust in and be like, it's my turn. And so I just sort of meandered about and I talked to Alex a little bit. I talked to Michael, who's got the Penguin Coffee Clutch podcast, and they are doing, it's him and Caroline, and they're starting a video podcast soon. I'll put a link to their website, but definitely check out the audio. It's hilarious. They're just too funny together. So definitely check them out. I got to meet Michael and his wife, Tanya? Am I saying this right? Hi! And that was super exciting. I got to meet Eric's partner, Sebastian, and he was super nice, and just sort of got to hang out and chill with everybody, and it was a very good ending to Vogue Knitting Live. I would have loved to stay longer and probably found more food, but I had the puppies, who are just the sleepiest little things. Oh, look, he's splooting. I had to get back to the pups. So I left, got home about 11, and it was just the perfect knitting day. I wish I could do that all the time. It was super sad coming back to the Muggle world. So yeah, that's, oh, I also got a Lolo bar from the barmaids. In the Winter Bliss. I highly recommend it. I'm already like halfway through it. It's beautiful. I love them. But yeah, so that's all the acquisitions. That brings me to yarn diet. I'm going on a yarn diet until forever. No. The goal is no yarn purchases or fiber purchases. If I make it to my birthday on March 18th, I'm allowed to buy one skein of yarn. And I want to, the goal, I have a skein for the Lobelia cardigan by, I forgot her name, but it was in Pom Pom magazine, I believe, in a spring edition. I didn't write this down, so I'll put links. I have one skein of yarn for that, and I want to make 2 of them, so I want to make one of them out of Kristen's Outlander colorway on her Luft base when she gets that in for the summer. So if I'm holding all of you guys up, make sure I don't do this. If I can last 2 months without buying yarn, I'm allowed that one skein of yarn. And then I won't be allowed to buy yarn until September. I will allow myself one skein of yarn at the New York Renaissance Fair if we go. If I go to Stitches Midwest with Mom and Adrian, then I will be allowed to buy yarn. I don't know if I'm going to go. It depends on my work schedule, where I'm working, am I in school, am I going to school, that sort of thing. So I'll figure that out probably the day before we leave. But yeah, I'm not allowed to buy yarn or fiber. I can buy needles if I need them. If I don't have them and if Adrian doesn't have them, I can buy a Lazy Kate. So those are the only 2 things I'm allowed to buy. And then on my birthday, I'm allowed that one skein of yarn. And that's it. Patterns-wise, I'm limiting myself to 2 patterns a month. The goal is to keep it under $20 for both of them. So February, I already have the Can shawl. I'm going to buy the plan is the Across the Pond shawl by Mina from the Knitting Expat. I do have yarn coming in. I ordered it before Vogue Knitting Live, so that doesn't count, but I will show you when it gets in. It's coming from a homespun house, so I don't know when it's going to be in. Yeah, Across the Pond shawl and the Little Brown Cardi by Oh Wool, because that's the next cardigan. That's the cardigan I'm going to knit next. I think that's what I'm going to cast on after I finish the Bon Bon shawl. But yeah, so those are the only 2 patterns I'm allowed to buy next month. No more yarn, no more notions, no more stitch markers. That's it. Done. Yarn diet. I guess yarn diet's done. With the planning, I didn't grab any of the yarn for the cardigan, but it's the Lake Erie and the O Wool DK Legacy base. For my next sock pair number 2/3, I'm going to say 2 because I'm counting from mine. It's going to be I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice pattern by Java Pearl. She's Cece from the Geeky Knit Girls podcast. And I bought the pumpkin spice kit many moons ago. And so it's Rainbow Heirloom did the colorway. And so one sock will have cuffs, heels, and toes in the orange, and the other one will have it in the brown. And it's a pumpkin cable sock. Excuse me. I'm gonna do a swatch of it just to practice the cable, just so I can get it down, because it is more of an intermediate to advanced pattern. Enough so that I looked at it and I didn't know what half of the stitches were, but it looked good. So I'm gonna do a little swatch on some scrap sock yarn to make sure I get that down, and I'm gonna do these 2 at a time. That way I don't do one, realize I hate the pattern, not because it's awful, but because it's more than I can handle, or like realize it's exhausting because I'm probably gonna just sit there and look at each stitch as I do it. So I don't want to get stuck with one sock, because this is going to be a fantastic pair of socks once they're done. Yes, so this is the plan. So next month's plan is the Can shawl, I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice socks, and the Little Brown Cardi by O Wool. And I think if I can keep my projects into a month, I'll be good. I do want to sign up for the Hogwarts House Cup stuff. I have all the group news. Michael was super helpful and gave me like a list of how to and where to go, because I want to be in Hufflepuff, because Hufflepuff is my house. Duh. We're the ones that go there. Yeah, I definitely want to try and get in, maybe for the spring semester. So he said if I can finish a project a month, I should be okay. And I think I can do that. So next time I podcast, hopefully I will be in the not quite first year group. And with that, shop updates. Now, I know I said I was going to have everything up for the end of January. I think I'm going to have to push it back a little bit, mostly because each bag does have a hand-embroidered Corgi on it, and it's taking me a little bit longer to do that than I anticipated, and I have to go get more interfacing, and the closest place that has interfacing that I can afford is about an hour's drive away, and usually I go on the weekends, but because we got 16 inches yesterday by I want to say 8 o'clock at night, and it was still snowing until midnight, so I was not able to drive to a Joann Fabrics during yesterday, and I don't have time during the week to drive all the way up there because it's north and all the traffic goes north at night, so I would never get home, essentially. So my ill-preparedness for this is the reason why it's delayed. But I will show you what the bags will look like and some of the yarn. I do have all the yarn, and I am dyeing it. I spent 9 to 5 yesterday dyeing yarn, and it was a blast. I loved it. I was just dancing around the kitchen like, this is awesome! I want to do this forever! And Jake's just sitting on the couch like, it's so hot in here, what are you doing? What does that smell? So, the plan is 4 bags, and then each set of bags will have 1 skein of yarn. I'll explain the yarn when I get there. So, one of the bags will be this teacup, flowers and teacups. I'm thinking of names for the bags because each bag will have 2, it'll be a bag, a stitch marker, tea, and a skein of yarn. So 2 of the bags will have a custom skein of yarn for the fabric, so I'll dye something based off of the fabric, and I'll do that in my Audrey base, which is 80% BFL, 20% nylon, and then one in the Penny base, which is 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon. So you'll have a luxury, or when you, I don't want to say like not luxury, essentially a sock or a shawl, or luxury socks if you want. That way, if you just want to do socks with it, you don't have to feel weird using cashmere in your socks, unless you like cashmere in your socks, in which case you have very soft feet. So I will have 4 bags in this, 2 with gray, 2 with the white bottom, and then there's just a variety of interiors. I didn't really want to limit it to one, I just wanted to give myself more of a variety so I didn't get bored while sewing. So that's fabric 1. Try and find it with the Corgi. This is the one you saw last time. So fabric 2 And again, 2 with the gray, 2 with the white, and there's the Corgi. Some of them you can see them better than others. And then I wanted to do all tea themes, and then it turned more into like a tea garden theme. And so for the not tea drinkers, I decided to do a coffee one or tea. I also wanted to do more of a gender neutral kind of thing. I know tea gardens and flowers aren't that masculine, but I didn't want to limit it to just girl things, so I got silver spoons, and this one was super hard to put the Corgi on. But there he is. I might, for darker fabrics in the future, get a Corgi tag to sew it on, but we'll see. Maybe I can figure out a way to put him on. So this will also have the gray and the white. And then this one is my favorite. I am in love with this fabric. I'm so glad I got more of it than the others. I'm calling it the Romantics. Ta-da! From afar, it just sort of looks like, hey, here are these roses and twigs. And then you get up close. Nope. Skeletons. So you have like the couples, and there's the little Corgi. And then you also have like this dude that's lounging, and then this guy playing a violin, and like there's a painter, there's a guy sitting on a stoop like reciting poetry. Oh, it's fantastic. I find a new one every time I work on a bag. So those are the 4 bags. So you'll have 4 of each bag, 2 white canvas, 2 gray canvas, so then they'll be a little bit tougher so your needles don't poke through. And they'll be a large size. So they're the width of my medium bags, but they're gonna be, I think, 4 inches taller, so you'll be able to. My phone ran out of room again. So, I think yarn, and that's it. So with the bags will also be a skein yarn. So there's gonna be 3 different colors of yarn. 1 color of which will be in the BFL and the merino cashmere nylon, like I said. So I'll show you the 2 standards. They're a little limpy and wet still, but the first one is this guy. He'll be a gilded teacup. I think I might over dye this darker. I wanted more of a deeper tealy turquoise, but it's growing on me. I'll see. Maybe I'll over dye one of them and see what I think. And it's on the ginger base, which has the gold stellina in it. So this is one of them. It's still a little damp, so it's not fluffing up to its potential. So each set of bags will have one of these in there. So that's the first one. And it's a 100-gram skein, 435 yards, I believe. And it's got superwash merino nylon and the gold stellina in it. So it's not like the big base, it's the ginger base. I just had a Pop-Tart, so I'm also starving. This is taking a lot longer than I thought, so if I seem hurried, it's because I'm hungry. So then the other one that will come with each bag, not each bag, each set. I'll just call them a set. Yeah, I think I'll call them a set. Where'd my glasses go? Whatever. Can you tell I'm really good at this? I've only had 1 cup of coffee. And that is the Secret Garden, and this will come in the penny base, which is a merino cashmere nylon, the 80-10-10. And I'm gonna reskein them. So this is on the Audrey base, the BFL nylon. So this is what it looks up reskein. So I'm gonna do that for each of them because I think it looks a lot neater than this. But this also came out a lot. I don't know. Maybe I won't reskein it. It came out so much more vibrant than this one. I did the same. I think I even put less dye in it. Maybe that was my problem with the other one. Maybe I didn't use enough dye. New dyes, new techniques. I'm learning. Yeah, this one came out a lot more vibrant, but I'm not Jake says he likes it a lot more vibrant. So each set will have one of these, and this is the Secret Garden colorway. And this is so soft. Man. I'm gonna need so many of these. And then each set will have 2 of a custom colorway. So I don't know if this is gonna be the custom colorway. A lot of things went crazy. I was testing a new dye. I've never dyed with brown before. I was testing like speckling and gradients all in one. So this is the test dye, and I'm calling it This Coffee is Making Me Awesome. So the spoon bags will be a coffee theme. So they'll have a gilded teacup, and I might not do the Secret Garden with that one. I might just do all coffee themed ones. So I'm calling this Coffee is Making Me Awesome because it's got, I don't know what happened. I just used one, I planned to use one color. I think just some dye particles got mixed in with my spoons or the paper towel that I had my spoon on, my measuring spoon on, had stuff on it, or the bin I was dyeing in, or something got cross-contaminated. And so in my brown speckles, I got all these speckles of pink, and in the gradient part, it did this cool, like, purpley gray, and Jake said he would like something out of this. So all the colorways that I'm working on that I'm trying to do more gender neutral, I just hold up to Jake like, do you want something out of this? Do you want to knit with this? Would you wear this if I made you something? And so if he like hesitates, then I know, but he said, he came up to me and said he wanted something out of this. So maybe this will be. The plan was just do a gradient of the browns and then do a speckle one, so it would be like a macchiato. Not a macchiato. It was just supposed to be a gradient of like a dark brown to a lighter brown, and then the speckle for like the, why can't I think? The milk foam on top. Milk foam. So, maybe I will put this one in. If I can recreate it. I still have some of the chestnut dye mixed, so I might play with that today a little bit. So the plan, if this was the custom colorway, would be, Iron gets jealous if you don't pay him too. One would be in the Audrey base, one would be in the Penny base. And this is on the Audrey base, so it's BFL and nylon. So the more I look at it in the camera, the more I like this. I was not so sure of it. And then these will be up in the shop by the... I'm going to put up in the shop for Monday. So I didn't plan on doing a Valentine's Day colorway. I don't like Valentine's Day. It's not a good time for me. It was just some awful stuff happened around it my freshman year of college, so I don't really associate good memories with it. It was a really rough time, so I don't like it. It does mean I get to eat really disgustingly unhealthy food for you, but yeah, Jake doesn't, we don't really do anything for it. Jake has to work. It is Valentine's Day. It is a huge restaurant holiday, so he'll usually get me like a box of chocolates, or one year he got me teeny tiny carnations because I said I don't want to do anything big or at all for Valentine's Day, so he just gets me the little things. So do you want to see it? Do you want to show off your stuff? Where's your ball? Go get the ball. This is called Heart of Gold, and it is on the ginger base. So I think this is super cool. It looks silver in the teacup one. I got the gold stellina, but it dyed up red in this one. I don't know if it'll... Yeah, you can kind of see it. Maybe I just have to wash it again. I'm gonna wash these again and do another super citric acid bath because I washed them. I did a couple washes, and I did a citric acid bath, and then I did a Synthra pool bath, and then I did another citric acid bath, and they were hanging to dry in my shower, and they were still dripping a light pink. So I think I'm gonna do another citric acid bath for them today, and then if you get them, if you're going to do anything, I mean, soak it in citric acid when you get it, just to be sure. So I'm gonna have 2 on the ginger base and 2 on the Audrey base. And that will be up in the shop on Monday, and then depending on how quickly those go, I'll try and get some more up with the tea bag update. So yeah, I just love the way this turned out. I just kept laughing because the dye I got was in... Audrey, come here. The neighbors are being very loud downstairs, and so the dogs are going crazy because they think someone is here. The dye I got was a kit from Woolery, and one of the dyes is called Turkey Red, and we were playing around with it when Adrian came over for the dye day. I thought it was very fitting to dye a heart stuff out of it because it just looks like turkey blood. I don't think there's one with a couple really good speckles in it. Kinda. I also worked on like speckling and variegation and tonal dyeing. So this was super fun. I love the way this turned out. So yeah, Heart of Gold. I will do an Instagram post for it, so keep an eye out. And I think that's it. The dogs are getting restless. I'm getting hungry. The roads look pretty clear. It is now 11 o'clock. I started recording at 9. So I'm gonna go try and get some errands done before everything freezes over again. Yeah, I'm awful like goodbyes and hellos. So thank you for checking us out. Again, show notes will be at onceuponacorgi.wordpress.com. Check out the Ravelry group. Say hello. I think I'm gonna put up an Ask Me Anything thread. I haven't gotten a lot of questions, but I figure if you guys want to ask, go for it. And then, if not, whatever. I will, however, put up what I'm watching. I'm watching a really interesting show. If you have children, cover their ears. It's Penn and Teller's bullshit. It is hilarious. It is fantastic. I knew a little bit about most of the stuff they talked about, but I learned a lot. It is a little dated. It was made in the early 2000s. They had an episode about how secondhand smoke doesn't affect you. Needless to say, we know it does. But it was like they go over everything from like the Boy Scouts to baby classes. It's fantastic. We're watching it on demand. I'm sure you can find it online somewhere. They did an Ask Me Anything on Reddit recently. I think that means they're going to come out with a new season. But yeah, check them out. Penn and Teller are fantastic. They're magicians. Jake found it. Jake loves magicians. He loves them. He loves Vegas. So that was the only, I don't know if you can see them. That's the show I'm watching. Reading, I got a bunch of Mary Queen of Scots books for Christmas. I'm going to start on those. And listening to, I just My Life in Paris, and I'm working on, or not My Life in Paris, My Life in France. And I'm working on The Judgment of Paris, Introduction to French Impressionists on Audible. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna go. The dogs are going nuts. I'm starving. We're gonna go play outside in the snow. I hope everyone enjoyed their blizzard. Have a good week ahead, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye! I just want to point out Audrey's beautiful fighting style.